What's going on, everybody? I am back to being live, and my goodness, has it been quite some time since the last time I did anything on YouTube. It's not because I've been sick or anything. I've just been ridiculously busy. I've been reassigned to a new team for my job to where I'm actually directly supporting a client. And yeah, just the work schedule has been rough. But I finally got to a place where I was able to, go live tonight. And I was actually working on a video tonight today that's actually being published first thing tomorrow morning. Do me a favor. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I've been still tweaking around with some of the audio settings out here in my garage, and some of my preliminary testing came out pretty good, but then just before I was about to go live here, it looked like it was it might have been messing up, and I'm just not entirely sure. But man, oh, good. Everything's here, and I can actually see my Facebook feed this time. Tom Kosha, thank you so much for being here with the loud and clear. I really do appreciate it. So, what's been going on since I haven't been posting any content, and haven't been live streaming, besides work? In the downtime, I still practice. One of the last things I posted was that I got my cloth changed, and I've been playing on my table since the cloth has been changed. And boy, let me tell you what, it's been a struggle adjusting to the cloth, primarily because the cue ball slides a whole lot more than I'm used to, and I honestly don't even remember it sliding that badly like when I very first got my table, which was probably like 5 years ago. Or something. But with the time that has gone by, I have been able to adjust a little bit. There's still a couple of occasions where there are certain types of spin shots off the rails where the cue ball just doesn't grab like I'm used to. I actually even showed a couple of buddies of mine that have come over and trained with me, to where I show them that when you shoot the cue ball directly into a rail, the cue ball, you can actually see the measles on the cue ball as it's spinning towards the rail. When it hits the rail, it slides back about a good 6 or 7 inches before it starts to spin back in the opposite direction. And that ends up being a complete throw off, where I think some of y'all might be able to relate to, where when you see the cue ball go into a rail, and after an inch or two, it starts to roll back, and the rail doesn't necessarily, or the rail doesn't absorb as much of the impact from the cue ball, so the cue ball travels rather appropriately. So that's pretty much what you're going to see here, especially when I changed the cloth and I did that power draw shot, and you could see the cue ball kind of peel back or peel out in place and then finally draw back. You're still going to see plenty of that here in straight pull. Like the cue ball might peel out in place when it runs into the rack before it finally decides to take off, and just stuff like that. Besides that, I've also been collecting a couple of new toys that I've been wanting to add to the live stream. One of the first ones is this little device here. This is my new wireless microphone. You're actually going to see, you might not actually see it, but I use this microphone in my video that I'm using, or that's in tomorrow, because this Bluetooth, or it does something wirelessly to the receiver that's actually plugged into my laptop via USB. And what I can actually do is, there's a magnetic clip to where I can stuff this microphone down my shirt, put the clip here, and I can just start talking like normal, and the microphone, in my opinion, works really freaking well. Hopefully you'll be able to see that in tomorrow's video, and I'll be using this more and more in future videos. But whenever I do live streams, I still use all my microphones and stuff that I have set up around the table. Another new toy. I haven't even had a chance to open this. This is a video switcher. You can see it's still got the plastic on it and everything else, because I'm looking into using actual cameras, like camcorders, maybe mirrorless cameras, or DSLR cameras, as opposed to the webcams that I currently have up here. And that's primarily because every one of these webcams require a USB plug on my laptop, and I'm limited to what I actually want to do as far as dual views and running multiple cameras at the same time, switching cameras to and from, and then of course also being able to just connect other devices to my laptop, because once I take up all the USB ports, I can't plug anything else into it. So what I'm hoping that this is going to allow me to do is, one, this will just be one USB interface to my computer. And you can probably barely tell here, but these 4 buttons that I'm showing right here, that means I can hook 4 cameras up to this. Now, I can't display all 4 cameras at once, but there are some abilities where I can do like picture in picture. So being able to switch camera views is going to be a whole lot easier, because I actually just get to use an external device versus messing with any of my streaming software. But then that's going to free up more USB ports for me to hook up other types of things. But like I said, I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to even play with this thing yet. And then another new toy that I haven't had a chance to try out is this. All of y'all are probably wondering, what the heck is this? Dirty on my new cloth here. All right, but everybody's probably wondering, what the heck is this thing? Like I pulled out a freaking armor case or something. But hopefully everybody will be able to see this. Oh. Golly, you can see this thing is very well secure. So hopefully everybody can see. I went ahead and got myself a brake rack. I haven't even had a chance to put this darn thing together yet, let alone try it out. But I will be making a video about this. You know, I've done numerous videos in the past about braking techniques, how to break 8-ball racks, how to break 9-ball racks, how to break 10-ball racks, how to improve your brakes. And this is going to be just another how to improve your brakes, and so that way I can give you my opinion on whether or not if this thing is worth it. This thing is expensive. I think I spent roughly about $500 on this, and it does come, or this is not included. I had to buy this extra. But this is the speed radar, so that way I can measure how fast I'm actually braking. So hopefully sooner or later I'll actually be able to put this together, try it out, and and see what I can, and see how it can be used to improve your brakes. Yeah, this is pretty much what I've been up to, or what I haven't been up to, since I haven't been able to really do anything. But on occasion, I do always try to come out here and do some straight pull high run attempts. When I'm out here practicing, I do have my cameras running, just in case I happen to set a new record. But when it comes to making content, I just haven't been able to do anything. I just haven't been able to do anything as of recent. So, hopefully my new project that I'm working on doesn't keep me too terribly busy like it has been for these past couple of weeks, and I can get back into, either doing more live streams, or at least producing content on a regular basis rather than having this long freaking break of not doing anything at all. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to in a nutshell. Now, before we get started, I gotta definitely give a shout out to my sponsors, and you might notice a small little change in the sponsorships that are up there. Thank you so much for Onboard Sportswear. That's the company that makes the jerseys for the Mosconi Cup. They've sponsored me for over a year now. And I last spoke about my sponsorship with TaomBilliards. And then you now see Outsville. Now, I've been associated, or I guess the correct word would be affiliated with Outsville for quite a long time. I've always had a running discount code with them that you can find in every description of every one of my YouTube videos. But I had a conversation with Chris Renfro, I guess he's the owner or the CEO or owner of Outsville. And we discussed that, I discussed with him that I wanted to take my affiliation with the Outsville products to the next level. And so hopefully here soon, we're going to be seeing more of these. You'll notice that I took down my magic racks, as being respectful to the Outsville products, and all I have are my Accu-Racks behind me. I'm hoping to soon get the Accu-Rack Ghost Rack, which is basically the Accu-Racks that I can permanently put on my table for like straight pool and stuff, or just anything in general. It's just like little holes and stuff that are the same that you see on the Accu-Racks that are behind me here. And they're not permanent. They're just like if I were to take the same reinforcement labels and put them down on my table using a different type of template. But I'll be having that eventually. And then as time goes by, like when I do giveaways or anything, I should be able to hopefully include some of them. So I'm really excited about that. In case anybody's wondering about any of this stuff, when you look at Onboard Sportswear, if you go to onboardsportswear.com or onboardsportswear.us, you can use my discount code LilChris10, and that can help you get 10% off of your purchase. Just like with Outsville, I have a discount code with them. It's LIL' space Chris. Whether it's all caps or lowercase, it really doesn't matter. That will also get you 10% off of your purchase. Now, I don't have a discount code with TaomBilliards anymore. I only had that running for about a week. But I'm still trying to decide if I want to start being a vendor for them, because as part of my sponsorship with them, I can buy Taom products at a vendor price and then sell them back out at my own, whatever I determine retail price. But if I'm as busy as I am and I can't even produce content, I can't even imagine what it would be like if I attempt to just like start up my own little marketing business and sell merch. I think that would just take way too much of my time. But never say never. So we'll just have to wait and see. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's play some straight pool. Let me switch over to my straight pool view, which is this guy. Okay, so my personal best or my overall record is still 79, and I've hit 79 before, so I've hit it twice. I just haven't been able to beat it. Or let alone I haven't been able to hit my goal of running 100 points without missing. But let's see what we can do tonight. Turn off the face cam and make sure everything else looks okay. So yeah, let's get started. With the new cloth being on my table, I went ahead and gave my Predator Arcos 2 ball set a break. So now I'm using the Aramith Blacks. So don't get confused by the by the pink 4 and the purple 5, or let alone the purple 13 and the pink 12 ball. So just like before, I'm probably gonna make so many attempts to see how many it takes for me to be able to score 100, and then I can take a break, talk to the viewers and stuff, and try to answer any questions before I try to make more attempts. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so anybody that might be new to my streams or new to straight pool in general, when we're doing single player high run attempts, that's how it typically starts. You have a ball that you can place, you rack all 15 balls, take the head ball away and place it anywhere you want on the table. And with cue ball in hand, you want to be able to make that ball, drive the cue ball into the rack like I did, and open the rack up. So now I want to attempt to run every ball without missing. But when I get to the last ball on the table, I have to leave it where it's at and the cue ball and re-rack all 14 balls, then try to shoot that last ball in and break the rack open again and see how many I can do without missing. That's pretty much a straight pool high run attempt. Now, in straight pool, you typically have to call the ball and call the pocket that you're going for. But if it's a fairly obvious shot, you're not going to hear me call anything. But if I'm doing a bank or a combo, or if I'm doing anything besides shooting a ball directly at a pocket, that's when you're not really going to hear me say anything. Now, with the new cloth, what I can say is, one, I'm already kind of a soft hitting kind of player. I hit the cue ball rather softly and still get it to kind of float and dance around the table. But with the new cloth, I can hit softer and still get pretty much the same results. Every once in a while, what you see me do is I'm trying to figure out if there's a exact pattern that I'm trying to play everything in. And the further down I get into the rack, there comes a point in time where there's going to be like an exact pattern that I'm going to try to play so I can try to get into the next rack. I wish that would have came out a little bit farther so that way I can shoot the 8. I need to get the 8 out of the way so that way I can make the 12. Check what the combo looks like. And that combo is a little difficult. Oh, I think I got a little lucky on that one. All right, so this is going to be an important shot here. I need to decide how I'm going to get on this 8 ball. And I think it's going to look like this. way too soft because ideally I'd like to be somewhere right around here so that way I can float down for the 12. Now I can still try to get position for the 12. Otherwise, hopefully y'all should see right now that the 3 ball is probably going to be my break ball. Or I would have wanted it to be my break ball. But now I might have to use it to be able to break apart the 6 and the 12. I think that's what I'm going to do instead of trying something wild and crazy. Just the first rack of the evening, so play this soft shot here. That way I get the position on the 3 and try to run my cue ball into the 6 and 12 and just take what I can get. Unless, of course, I miss. So that would be an 11, and now I would have to start over. So this is a standard starting break shot. It's not the one that you always have to do. There was a point in time where I would always try to break like this. I would shoot the ball into the side pocket and drive the cue ball into these 2 head balls here and spread them open. But I've just gotten so used to breaking like this now. I don't know if you were able to see how the cue ball kind of just like spun in place and then it gradually tried to work its way into the rack. So now I just got to try to rinse and repeat what I did without missing, so that way I can have a higher score. A little bit of an issue right here. So just like in 8-ball, if you identify issues, you do want to try to deal with them as soon as possible. And that's what I'm looking at, is trying to figure out how can I get on this 1 ball quickly enough to break them open and still have plenty of other balls that I could possibly shoot at. Now, as long as nothing ties up. Okay, so every ball is kind of out in the open now. So I just got to maintain good cue ball control. And of course not miss. This is where pattern selection becomes a really good thing. Always good to check and make sure that balls you plan on playing in a particular order into particular pockets, that they actually do go into those pockets. Can't begin to tell you how many times I've set up for a particular shot, and then when I go over there, I'm going to find out the ball that I want to shoot can't even pass an opposing ball to go into a pocket. You do have to be careful. Here we go. We made it through one rack. So that's a current score of 14. I have to rack the other 14 back up, try to make this 10 ball, and break the rack open and keep on running. What's typically good to take note of here is how the cue ball will actually drive into the rack, so that way hopefully you avoid scratching. Alright, so now I just try to rinse and repeat what I did in the first rack. You can see I got a lot of issues here now. I got to do a whole lot more tight cue ball movement than I did last time, since I didn't get as good of a spread as the last break. And I don't know if y'all saw, but you saw how the cue ball hesitated, then drew back, and that drawback kind of messed me up because I was trying to play position for this one ball here. So it's like little subtle things like that kind of throw me off a little bit. But I at least have a shot at this 9 ball here. I would really love to leave this 11 ball here because that's a good break ball, but I might have to use it now so I can get to these three. And then I still got to figure out what to do with the 6 and the 8, as well as now I got to deal with this guy too. So this is getting harder and harder. Actually, you know what? Let's try this. Oh, I was supposed to obviously hit that 8 ball, but that didn't work. Doggone it. And nudging that 5 ball was actually not a good thing because that 15 ball did go by itself. Now I can play it in the other corner pocket where I have to play the combo, which I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't know if I can back cut this 2 ball into the side pocket, and if I do, I'm going to lose my cue ball trying to get position for the 13. Oi! Alright, so now I got to be careful here. It'd be great if I can break up that 8 and 6 too. Not quite, but at least the 15 ball went into break ball position. You know, I might have to see about maybe comboing in the 8 and the 6. But now we definitely have to get to this 13 ball. That's for sure. Whoops. Never mind. And now you can see where a run can start breaking down, like the moment you start missing transitions. Now I have to, if I want to keep the rack alive, I have to take away my break ball and just come up with something else. Oh, I was hoping I'd hit that. That's that 8 ball. But now I'm lucky again because now the 7 ball moved into a break ball position. So here's an opportunity. I gotta nail this combo. I gotta make sure I probably get position on the 8 as the 8 drifts up here, and then maybe I can go 8, 13, and then 7. So I gotta be very careful how I shoot this shot here. Hold up, 8 ball. Ooh. All right. Ah! Doggone it. All right, so that's plus 12. That would be a 26. So that's not bad. 2 racks in, and I almost completed 2 racks. Sometimes the cue ball can get away from me on the breaks. A small angle so I can just billiard into the 13 and 1 and shoot the 4 next. Now I gotta do something just a little different. What do I want to do? That's important to know. So here's a cool thing about straight pull. You'll notice that I don't really have a decent ball that I can use to break into the next rack. Like, I might be able to use the 9 ball if I can get back here to cut the 9 on the side and drive the cue ball back that way. But what kind of transition, or what ball am I going to use to make that kind of transition to do that? So what I currently see here that I can try is I can make the 8, and if I can get somewhere right around here for this 11 ball, shoot the 11 in, try to push the cue ball forward into this 1 and 13, and maybe bump that 1 ball into break ball position. Let's see if I can do that. Now, if I don't get the correct angle on the 11, then this is pointless. And yeah, I'm fairly flat on the 11, so this might not even work. I needed the cue ball to be right about here. Pinpoint positioning. I can probably still try. I just have to thump the cue ball and cheat the pocket at the same time, and I'm not even going to do that. That's not even worth it. I risk missing the shot if I do that. So I just need to come up with something else. Man, I really got straight on this 11. Now something like that, I bumped into the 13. I would have rather have bumped into the 1 because you can see here I don't have what's referred to as a decent safety valve. I have a shot on the 1, but if I were to at least bump into the 1, my cue ball would be somewhere right around here, and look, you can see I can probably cut the 6 into the side or maybe shoot the 15. From here, this is less than ideal. But I gotta make do with it, so. And decent recovery, and now we have the 13 as a break ball. Now I just gotta think about how do I want to do this. there's maybe like one or two very particular patterns that you'd want to be able to shoot these balls in. And I screwed up on that one because cue ball is supposed to be right here. I play the 6 into the corner and roll the cue ball where the 6 is, and then play the 7 and kind of just roll forward for a good break angle. Now that I've got a cut angle on the 6, I got to do more movement than I would have liked. Especially since I did that. Didn't want to touch the 7 ball. So when I look and see that this is the shot line for the 13 ball, as long as I'm anywhere over here, I'm going to be okay. It's not going to be ideal, but I can hopefully make it work. So there, I got it. As you can see, this would be straight in. And since I'm not straight in and I'm on what would be the good side of the shot line, you can see where the natural cut angle is going to cause the cue ball to run right into the rack. The further over, the more in the middle the cue ball gets, the better. But I don't want to have too much of a cut angle on this 13 ball, because then it becomes more difficult to make. But I would like more of a cut angle than what I have. Alright, so that wasn't bad. That was actually a really good rack to be able to complete. So now let's see what we can do with this one. We got a giant mess that we got to deal with right here. Now, this is something I struggle with sometimes. You can see I can try to cut the one into the side, drive the cue ball into this. But is that really going to be a good thing? Because look at all the balls that I'm pretty much going to clutter up next to, or create the clusters I might create. So that's one thing that I'm always looking out for. But the problem starts to become, well, how many of these do I clear out before I try to open that back up again? That's another thing that I struggle with. It's like I want to make room for the cluster to open up. So how many balls should I remove before I attempt to open up the cluster? Really contemplating what to do here. What's the best move? Woo! Just enough pocket speed. Pretty much imagine that's not what I was trying. I was trying to get here for the 6. Like I said, this fast cloth trips me up sometimes, and I didn't think I hit it that hard. Oh, doggone it. All right. Whew. Let's see here. I'm not really given a whole lot of options here. Hopefully you can see what I mean. I kind of open things up, but then all I'm doing is really creating more clusters, and I'm not really given any type of shots. The 12 is blocking just enough of the 3 for the combo. The 11 blocks enough of the 12 for me to shoot it straight in. The 8 is blocking the 7 just enough. I don't have an 8-5 combo. I can shoot the 6, but then what am I going to do after that? So I feel inclined. I don't know what I feel inclined to do. Maybe I can get position for the 5-7 combo if I shoot the 6. And the 6 is a good break ball. Why would I want to move that? Crap. All right. I think I'm going to play this 11-12 combo. 12 ball, corner pocket. Shoot the 9. I'm not. Ow. Am I going to scratch too? No. I would have had a 9-3 combo. All right, so 6, 7, that's plus 8. We're up to 22. So that makes for a decent average so far. It's actually starting to get warm in here. Hopefully my microphones don't pick up my mini split and you hear like this constant wind sound. You have to let me know when I take a break. Right in. can't tell if nicking this 4 ball is gonna make me miss. Uh, 15 ball, corner pocket. All right, there we go. That worked. Okay. Really, Chris? I didn't even think that was going to happen. I thought I could be able to just draw back and it comes out to like right here, not way the heck down there. Clearly, I just made this break shot a lot harder than it needed to be. Might even miss the rack if I'm not careful. Or rattle the shot. Oh, I would have had a shot at the 10 or the 6. Yeah, or the 6. That stinks. Sometimes I gotta be real careful hitting the ball that hard because I've seen too many times where my cue ball just slides right into this corner pocket and it doesn't have enough traction to pick up the top spin that I want to push it to the short rail. Oh no! Ugh. That's gonna tank my average. Typically, I wouldn't want to count that. Not because it's a 2, but because I missed the first opening shot after the break. Because if I miss the opening break shot, I don't even count it. I just start over. And there was a point in time where if I don't make the opening shot after the break, I wouldn't count that either. But since I made 2 balls, that's why I counted it. See what I mean? That's what I meant by if I hit it too hard, the cue ball just slides all the way in and doesn't have enough time to pick up the traction and force its way to the short rail. So like this, I'm not going to count. This would basically be a 0. See, hitting it softer like that at least has like a safer result of staying on the table. And probably as time goes by, the more and more I wear my cloth in, I probably will have to start hitting it harder and harder. So as viewers, if this is a game that you might want to take up and give a try, one of the things that you can practice as a viewer is figure out what ball do you think I'm actually going to try to save as a break ball, and then what ball am I going to shoot at before that ball to set up for a break shot. Thinking that I was going to get hugged up next to the 11 like that. I did that to myself. No excuses. I tried to break it out. Might just have to settle for a combo. The 15 in the corner. That worked out rather nicely. So I was saving the 2 ball as the break ball, but I might use the 11 now. Unless I screw it up. I'm perfectly frozen to that 11 ball. Well, I'm not frozen to it, but I can't shoot the 6. Or I can't shoot the 6 in the corner. Cannot believe that. Try the 6 up here. Recovery shot. Playing a really terrible pattern right now. There we go. Bit more. All right, hold on. Slow down. Rethink this. 8 in the side. I hit it too soft. Look at that. Hit it too soft and not enough spin. Come back towards the middle of the table. But let's have a look at what we have and see if we can come up with something. Well, I can at least make it. But what kind of rack am I gonna have? Let's see if I can get the cue ball to hit the 5, the purple 5. See that slide? That's what makes it so difficult. Alright. The slide off of this rail and the spin didn't even take at all. Okay, so there are shots inside of a full rack. I am going to try to call the pink 4 into this corner pocket. This is very similar to how if you play 8 ball, you do the second ball break from here and hit the ball that's in the second row. Sometimes the corner ball has a tendency to go. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be relying on. So hopefully you saw the 4 ball missed right about here. I mean, it's a super low percentage shot, but had I made it, I mean, look what I'd be dealing with, right? It'd be a really good reward. And if all the balls were frozen tightly together, that might have helped. But what really would have helped if I'd have gotten decent position on this ball, so I can use it as a break ball. Or as a better break ball. Looks like I'm sitting at 90 total. So if I can score at least 10 on this attempt here, then I'll take a small break. so hopefully you get the idea now of like how this works. You can obviously see how monotonous this can be. Especially like when you go like deep into a run and like, you know, when I get into like the 40s and sometimes the 50s and then I screw up, it's like, oh, it's just so heartbreaking because then I have to start over, obviously. See, believe it or not, that was supposed to be a stop shot. That was supposed to be a stop shot. Look what it did. Sometimes I just don't know. I think I'm hitting it soft enough, and actually maybe in that case I can say I hit it too low on the cue ball. Whoops. So there's another attempt that's going to taint my average. That's another 2. Gee whiz. Sometimes when you hit it soft enough, it's still the top spin is still not going to take. And really, if I paid more attention to how the cue ball is striking the rack on the opening shot, then I would probably know that I probably should not be using topspin. Because it's not like I'm exactly placing the break ball and the cue ball in the exact same starting positions every time. There's just minor little variances. Or maybe I should probably break like this from time to time. Let's see here. Maybe I should break like that from time to time. If I pay more attention. But look, like you would think like that this looks great. Like maybe I can cut the 12 into the side, but I don't have a direct shot at any ball anywhere. I have to maybe play a 13-6 combination. So that's what's so frustrating about this game. And this would almost be similar to like playing 8-ball and you get a spread like this and you don't have a shot at anything. Let's try the 6. So all I cared about there was just getting into the rack. Now I really got to try to figure out what I'm going to do. Balls that are on the rail are usually considered priority balls, just like any balls that are up here sometimes are considered priority balls. Just like with clusters, things that you kind of want to deal with like almost right away. Not all the time, but most of the time. This, not so much. Oh, really, Chris? Right here. That's where I wanted it. Just a little bit farther. There we go. I can try to make that work. Wasn't what I wanted, but you always have to make do with what you get. Alright, will I even hit the rack? That is the question. Like, am I going to hit this 9? And it looks like I might barely glance off the 9. That probably means the 6 ball is going to come loose. Maybe the 12 ball. I don't even know what kind of shot I might get, but I don't think I'm supposed to hit this too terribly hard. Right? I was right. But now I need to come up with something here. This is going to be all luck. Right, I can cut the 6 in, cue ball's going to come back, hopefully hit this 7. And then just, yeah, let's see what happens. Right, that's all luck at that point. I can't read anything of what the rack was going to happen. Or how the rack was going to react when I hit it like that. But clearly I'm thankful with how it reacted. But having the knowledge of how to hit this shot, clearly, hopefully you can see how important that was. I knew the 6 was going to come loose, so I tried to make sure I had some sort of position on it. And you could say I was lucky to have the position that I had in order to do this. Now what? Let's see here. The heck do I do here? Sometimes just coming out to the middle of the table is a very good thing. what I wanted. I wanted to get position on that 7 ball. Boy, that makes things more difficult. I should have known better. There were balls I could have shot, but I was really trying to keep that going there. So 6, 7, or 6, 7. That's plus 8, so 22. Okay, and that's enough for me to take a break on. So I've made 114 balls. Whew. All right. So the first thing I would like to know from everybody is, how did everything sound? I know it sounds a little echoey out there when I'm shooting. Because it's currently just what I have to work with. I don't want to use my wireless microphones because then I'm limited to a battery life. Now, granted, I'm limited to a 5-hour battery life, so I could use them, but then that defeats the purpose of me having all these microphones. I do at least use the wireless microphones for any of my recorded content because I would like the audio to just be better. The cool thing about the wireless microphones is that there's 2 of them. So if I actually can get a guest here, I can have the option of, using the microphones that I have hooked up around my garage, or I can mic both of us up, and both of these microphones feed into the same receiver. And I've tested this out, and it works really good. Like I said, the only issue is that if I ever get to the point to where I start streaming for more than 5 hours, that's where they become not as useful. So Billy Jack, you're saying racking the balls is rather loud. I can imagine that because the balls are hitting my metal Delta 13. I don't think there's really anything I can do with that. Once I get the ghost rack placed, then I won't even be using the Delta 13 anymore, because then I can just place the balls into their little spots and then have a perfect rack every time. But for now, I just use the Delta 13 because I don't want to. I have templates that I could use to set down reinforcement labels, but I just don't want to use them at this point until I get that Outsville Accu Ghost Rack. Whew. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so here's what we can do. This is what I typically like to do after I take a break. We can see that I've made a total of 8 attempts. And 3 times I was not able to get out of the first rack. That's when I scored an 11 and then those 2 2s that I had. But 5 times I was able to get to the second rack, which is really good. So I've only actually completed 5 out of a total of 13 racks. That's basically the 5 times that I got to the second rack. Of the 13 racks, if you basically just multiply that by 14, that's why you see that there's a total of 182 balls that I could have made, and I made 114 of them, and I'm averaging 14 balls per attempt, which is phenomenal to me because I hardly ever average 1 complete rack. I'm usually somewhere between 10 to 12, maybe sometimes 13. So given that I'm actually averaging a full rack, I'm very pleased with that. I just can only hope that I hold it longer. So imagine what my average would be if we just get rid of those 2 2s. Like it'd be somewhere closer to 20, right? So that at least allows me to see that I'm improving when I see my average go up. And then every once in a while, I just want to see that large spike to show something good. Pretty much like the 26. If you look at the blue line, when you see that large spike, that's what's supposed to happen. Like statistically, that's what's supposed to happen every now and again. And then the red line indicates the average. And so you pretty much, when you're playing a high run straight pull attempt, you're going to have like a very steady line, and then just every once in a while, bam, you get a nice spike of a high run, and then it kind of lulls back down, and then you might, depending upon how long you actually practice, you might actually get another spike. So for me to have the 26 and the 2 22s, those are like, the occasional spikes that are happening every now and again. So hopefully before the end of tonight, maybe I can hit a spike of like in the 40s or 50s. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, I can see that my chat bot is being utilized. So I can see above here that Craig typed in exclamation point table specs, and that's what causes my little bot here to answer what I'm playing on. I have an 8-foot Diamond Pro Am table with 4.5-inch corner pockets and 5-inch side pockets. That's pretty much considered a pro cut table. If you want, I don't know if the let's see here. We can see that even Craig is asking what are my home cues, like what cues am I playing with? And the bot has answered that I'm actually shooting with the Predator Icon 4.5. I do have a tuxedo that I'm not, it's just sitting over here on the side. My BK3 is actually over here on the upper right corner pocket. My program's currently blocking it right now, along with the Air 2 is sitting next to my Q Claw that I have over there. So I've got a couple of chat commands that you can actually use. These chat commands only work on YouTube, unfortunately. The bot currently does not work on Facebook. Hopefully sooner or later it will. So if you want, when you type in exclamation point commands, my bot should respond back with a hyperlink. If you happen to be watching me on happen to be watching on a computer, and go check out that link that's now in the chat. That'll show you all the commands that are currently available whenever I live stream. Just something to help make the chat a little bit more interactive. Okay, so let's see here. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, like this, for example. Ron Ham, you want to know if there are any straight pool leagues in my area? There are not. As much as I love to play straight pool now, I wish there was. You know, I've grown up for a long time playing 8-ball and 9-ball and then some 10-ball, and I still love to play those games. But when I started this road to 100 and really started diving into learning how to play the game, the strategies and the way you want to set up for the break ball and the way you want the cue ball to hit the rack, and playing particular end patterns and stuff, like I've become more and more fascinated with the game. That I'm pretty much just hooked to it. It's all I ever really play in my garage, unless I'm going to make a video on 9-ball or 8-ball. I hardly ever shoot those games in my garage anymore. It's pretty much just all straight pool. Oh, this is a good comment. That's a dumb comment. Wants to know, when did I go from the black to the Icon 4.5? So I didn't really. What you're seeing here, the cues that I have here in my garage are the cues that I play with on YouTube. And I still have my Predator Black, but that is my Predator Black 4.5. That's the one that has the How Soft tip on it, along with my BK Rush and my Air Rush. But those are the cues that I take out with me in public. So, as much as for me to say that, I've got this cue and I've got that cue, I really don't want to sound like I'm boasting or anything, but I have these cues for separate occasions. So that way I don't have to bother with unpackaging my cues, screwing them all together, and then when I'm done, taking them all apart and putting them back in my case and then possibly going out. So this is just my efficient way of being able to deal with all this. And the reason why I have the Predator Icon 4.5 is because Darren Appleton, before he had his medical issues, was posted on Facebook that he was selling one. So I contacted him right away and asked him, like, what are you selling it for? Are there any types of deals that I can get with it? And I just snatched it right up, because how often are you going to be able to buy a cue, not from a store, but from a professional pool player? That's the only reason why I snatched it up, is because a pro was selling it. Now, I only wished, because I did ask him, could he autograph it before sending it to me? But he didn't actually have the cue on hand. He was actually just selling it through his vendor at the time, which, if memory serves correctly, he's actually no longer with Predator. I think he shoots with Tiger cues now, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because I do believe he ended his sponsorship with Predator, and I think one of the last posts that I saw from him, he's now shooting with Tiger products. There we go. I was right. He is shooting with Tiger now. So yeah, like maybe Tiger might be the next best thing to start hitting the market. Who knows? Just have to wait and see. Because I do know, like for example, I think Alex Pagulayan is working on his own brand as well, selling merch, whether it's apparel. I think he's working on a couple of cues and stuff, and like some pretty exciting stuff coming out on the market here. So I can only wait and see like what's going to happen with it. All right, let's see. Let's hide this. I'm not done taking a break. Just let's see here. Let's see what other questions are there. Oh, this is actually a good question. Future Crusader. Would it not be better to play with the same cue rather than switching between them? Offhand, I would probably have to say yes. I agree with you on that. But on the other hand, I'm not a professional pool player. I don't ever strive to be. I just strive to be a decent player. And as a YouTuber / social media influencer type of person, you can imagine how many times people will ask me, what do you think of this cue? What do you think of that cue? What do you think of this tip? Does this play better than this? Or should you shoot with this equipment? Should you shoot with that equipment? And a lot of times you're going to hear just all kinds of different opinions, right? People that favor whatever it is that they favor are going to say, this is what you should play with and whatever tips you should use and stuff. And so I'm kind of being the person to where like I'm shooting with just everything and anything to be able to answer those questions based on my personal preference as well. But what I can say is this: if you've been following my channel long enough, you will know that I started with a Sean on my channel, then I switched to a Viking, then I switched to my Predator cues, then I started switching tips. And even this Predator Icon 4.5, this has a 12.4 millimeter shaft on it. I prefer to shoot with 12.9s. And so the point being is that when you see me use all these different cues and you look at all the different videos that I have, or some of my APA matches or any of my live streams, like if you honestly could tell, like there's a vast difference in the way that in the way that I'm able to play. Like does one set of equipment allow me to play better than the other? Personally, I'm not gonna see it. Maybe y'all as viewers see it, but I don't. Now, that's not to say that you can just take any old cue, off of the Walmart shelf and become a world beater with it. I am the type of person that does believe that the value of something kind of plays into the quality of the product, and the better quality the product is, the better you can most likely perform with it. I think there is some truth to that, but am I going to say, like, if I start playing with a Q-Tech cue with the same kind of specs or whatever, am I going to play, or even slightly different specs, am I going to play any better, or am I going to play any worse? Like, that's where it's going to be like, I don't think that kind of really much holds water. Like, there might be some adjusting that I might have to do, but I just don't think it's like that big of a difference or that big of adjustment that's all of a sudden going to dramatically like shoot my game up like a couple of balls, or shoot my Fargo rate up a couple of points. So I hope that makes sense. This is a good question. Zach Robbins, you want to know, how is it transitioning to a 9-foot table? So since you now know that I have an 8-foot table here in my garage, I wish I had a 9-foot table. I really do. It's just that a 9-foot table does not comfortably fit in this garage as I get closer and closer to these walls here, if I ever have to do a rail shot. But my area is dominated by league play. So I play on a lot of 7-foot tables. And so whenever I try to go out of town to play in 9-foot table tournaments, then trying to adjust from a 7-foot to a 9-foot table, I mean, it can be done, but it's not as easy. But playing on at least this 8-foot table, it makes it easier. It's still not easy, but it's easier to transition up 1 foot to be able to play on a 9-foot table, or transition down to playing on a 7-foot table. Oh, here we go. Michael, you're saying that you have a 600 plus Fargo guy at your local pool hall, and he plays with an old warped Mucci. Like there you go. Right? So if you want to hold like myself or like, this gentleman here to like professional standards, it's just not going to be a fair comparison. I would rather think that you would want to hold what you see me do against yourself if you feel like you're a similar player to myself. And it doesn't matter if you're a little bit better than me or if I'm a little bit better than you, because that's where I think at least doing this YouTube stuff, I'm a little bit more relatable to my audience because I'm just an average pool player. Like I don't really consider myself anything special, but when I do know that all of my viewers are always asking me, what do I think of this cue? How much should my cue weigh, or what tip should I use and stuff? So I take it upon myself to be able to hopefully try to answer these questions, is all. Lonnie Rushing, this is actually one of my locals. He wants to know if I've ever played on a 5x10. He's recently watched a professional pool match on YouTube, and that table looked huge. Well, I've never played pool on a 5x10 table. I've played snooker on a 5x10 table, and yes, that table is humongous. And when I went to London 2 years ago for the Mosconi Cup, I did get to see a 6x12 snooker table. And you want to talk about a gigantic table, like holy cow, like actual snooker tables are really big. And of course the pockets are really small, the balls are really small. I even got to see like the 6-foot English pool tables where a 6-foot bar box table with rounded pockets, and the balls are like really, really tiny. So that was really cool to see. But I've never played pool on a 5x10. The only 5x10s I've played on is 3 cushion. And I've played snooker on a 5x10. Michael, you couldn't be any more correct, in my opinion. It's always nice experimenting with equipment, and maybe you'll find something that works better for you. I mean, like right now, I've every cue that I've had in my possession, they work for me as far as I'm concerned. So, for example, I'll actually switch out cues. Like I said, this is a 12.4 icon with a Taom fusion tip on it. And I'll switch that out with my Predator tuxedo cue that has a 12.9 millimeter Revo shaft, and it still has the factory Victory soft tip on it. And let's just see, like, lo and behold, maybe I'll play worse, and that should tell you and maybe myself that I should be using 12.5, or blah blah blah, or maybe I'll play better, or maybe I'll play the same. But I'll do it for the sake of an experiment. The point being is that I've always been satisfied with cues that I've had in my hands. The one driving point that usually causes me to change, one is to try something different, and then two, to try to have a cue that nobody else has. I've made a video about that a long time ago, to where, like, when you go out and want to buy a particular cue, you don't necessarily want to buy a cue that you already know someone has in your local area. You want to be able to try to be unique, if you can. Fortunately, I haven't really seen anybody with the Predator Icon 4.5 locally, but I do know Vitaly Patsura uses the Icon 4.5, because I did have the pleasure of playing him in the Texas 9-Ball Classic, and he beat the crap out of me. And I also do know that FSR, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, uses the Icon 4.5. My Predator Black 4.5, I have met other like BCA players around Texas that have that cue. I know Christina Tkach has the Predator Black 4.5. Savannah Easton, the little Roadrunner, she has the Predator Black 4.5. So lots of people have the cues that I have as well, and I didn't know that at the time. And it's encouraging to me to know that I actually have cues that even professionals find themselves comfort with. But I also do know, I think I know one or two locals that also have the Predator Black 4.5. Oh. When are you planning on getting more cues? As time goes by and when I see fit. I still do product review giveaways where I try to get my hands on a cue and then make a product review on it. And then when I'm done reviewing the product, I give it away to a lucky subscriber. Or at least most of the cues that I do product reviews on, I end up giving away to a lucky subscriber. So I hope that's never going to end. Like I enjoy being able to do that. Oh, This is actually a really good question. Fix It Rod, you're saying, have you ever had a cue you actually didn't like? If so, why didn't you like it? So personally, no, I've never actually owned or had a cue that I did not like. Have I ever hit with cues that I didn't like? Yeah, I have. And the number one thing for it was just how thin the shaft was. I know, like right now, I think 11.8 is like one of the newest or the latest thinness in shafts. And in the past, I used to shoot with 12 millimeter shafts way long time ago, because I used to. That was before I just knew any better and thought like that was just the way to go. And when I actually took a long break from playing and came back, I decided that I was going to jump all the way up to the standard like 13 millimeters or whatever, and I've been doing that ever since. And come to find out that I actually just prefer like a 12.5 or a 12.9, but I really wouldn't want to go personally anything lower than that. But there are plenty of people out there that prefer the diameter of the shaft to be that small. It's just not for me. I didn't know this. Michael, you're saying Synergy is selling a 10.5? Like, I get it, like, but that's just too small. Like, I knowing that the smaller the shaft, the less deflection that's actually supposed to occur. Because I don't know if anybody is aware, but Dr. Dave made a wonderful video that actually explains cue ball deflection down to a science, to where the only thing that really matters to the cue ball is like the first few inches of the shaft and how much weight is in the first few inches. You know, the weight of the tip, the weight of the ferrule if it has one, or the weight of the vault plate or whatever. Just all of that is what really matters, and that really causes the deflection. The rest of the cue just does not matter. And so obviously, the smaller the diameter the shaft is, that means it's going to weigh a whole lot less. So you get less deflection with very small shafts. And like I said, there are people that prefer shooting with them. I personally, excuse me, I personally don't know of any professionals that shoot with like anything below a 12. I think 12.4 is almost like the standard. For most of the professionals that are out there. But for non-professionals, there are those that like smaller than that. So it is what it is. So that's at least why the vendors make these products, because they know there's an audience for them. Okay, well, I think that's long enough of a break. Let's go ahead and do another series of attempts, and let's see how I shoot. Let me turn this back off. And as I said, I'm going to swap out my Icon 4.5. And shoot with my Tuxedo. Now, I just realized that my Tuxedo still has some pyro chalk on it. And I'm now using the V10, so I'm just going to try to clean some of the chalk off. Just using a magic eraser. I want to mix the chalk up. So I believe the weight of the Icon and the Tuxedo are exactly the same, 19 to 19.5. But I do know the diameter of the shaft for this one is 12.9, and the diameter of the Icon is 12.4. And as I said, the tip that's on here is the Victory Soft tip. And the tip that I had on my Icon 4.5 is the Taom Fusion tip. Now, eventually, I plan on trying the Taom Soft tip, because actually, I just have a much better preference to softer tips. I did make a video on the Icon 4.5 and switching to the Taom Fusion tip. And I've been shooting it with it for a very long time. Or long enough time now to where I can say, like, it's a good tip. Like, it is. I really don't have, like, really any valid complaints about the Taom Fusion tip in regards to its performance. The only thing is that since it is harder than a softer tip, I don't think my microphones are doing the audio any justice, but it has more of a harder knock sound on the cue ball, whereas softer tips, they have more of a thud, like a deep, dark thud sound. And just personally, I like that better than a knocking sound. All right, so here we go. Let's see if there's going to be that much of a difference now that I'm shooting with a thicker shaft and a different tip. And I don't know if you can hear the difference with how that shot just sounded in comparison to what the shot sounded like when I had the Taom Fusion tip. Me obviously being here, I can hear a drastic difference, and I just much prefer the way this sounds. They both feel fine, but then it's audio to me that makes a difference. You're also going to notice that now that I'm in my second round of attempts, I'm going to be talking less and less, but try to get a little bit more serious at putting up a good score. The first series of attempts, I usually try to talk and commentate because I try to be educational about this, but then I start getting more and more serious and don't talk as much. Oh, really? Wasn't expecting that. All right. Six. That's only a 9. Oops. Do that from time to time. too far. Look at that. I tried. So that's an 11 because then it would be shoot this, try to softly shoot that guy in and get flat on the 7 ball. I should have just made sure I made the darn ball. All right, so that's an 11. Post, thank you so much for the $1. I think this is referred to as a super sticker with a unicorn. Oi, are you serious? I don't have to call like that the 2 ball went off of another ball. But hopefully that was fairly obvious that I was trying to make the 2 ball. Now this stinks. But in this case here I'm playing a combo, so now I'm going to call 1 ball front pocket. Oh, come on. That was perfect. Can't believe I overcut that. All right, so 4, 7, 8, that's a 7. Play the 2-ball. That might not have been the smartest of decisions. Way too soft. The 10 ball would have come further out than that. Crack. Got the position. But I was actually hoping to be shooting at the 7 if the 10 ball would have moved a little bit more. That's only an 11. And I had to do a lot of movement on my cue ball just to be able to make the shot. And I don't even know why I didn't even consider playing the combo. Playing position to play the combo instead of trying to play a ball by itself. That's usually what happens if I get caught up in the run and not really think about what all my options are, because I could have tried to play that shot a whole lot softer if I was playing for the combo. If I do that for a third time in a row, first a miss, then a make and a scratch. And hopefully you clearly see that you have to hit this at a really good sweet spot of a speed. You can't just blast into the rack. Let me try this way instead. It's actually supposed to bump into the 2, so that way I can hopefully push the 3 right here. It wasn't terrible. I just didn't really end up with a decent shot. Wow, I overcut that. That's a 10. And then now my average is settling into what I'm most familiar with. Eves, thank you so much, buddy, for the $6.66 Canadian super chat. Really do appreciate it. Nice. That was not a very good break shot. Let's try the 5 ball. And that's what I get for trying to do that. That's only a 3. Yuck. See, and sometimes I just don't make the greatest of decisions. Like, I don't think I probably should have done that because there wasn't really a safety valve to bail me out. I got to take this 6 ball out. That's a really good break ball. Don't you do it. I can't even see the 9. That's where I wanted to shoot next. Eesh. Whew. Okay. 7, that's 8. There's a good break there. I've got no excuses if I don't complete this one. I just need to pick a good pattern and have good cue ball control. Have a look. Already started off with terrible cue ball control because I was supposed to get position for the 7. Definitely did not hit that one hard enough. Doggone it. Let's play the 15. Yuck. Man, cue ball control's going out the window. Oh man, would I even be able to make that and hit the rack? Yeah, I would have. I would have. Oh, so close on that one. That was already a tough rack as it was. Left with an unorthodox break ball on that one. Oh, yuck. Whatever this is. Solve one mess only to create another. Ooh, man, that's going to be a super thin cut shot. But finally, get into the second rack. And here I thought I hit that hard enough to go just a little bit farther. Just a little bit farther. But not quite. you serious? I did not mean to overcut that ball. Some of y'all might be wondering why didn't I go for the 6, and that's because of this shot right here. That way I can try to break all this open since I have position on the floor, which is what I wanted. Okay. All right, I hope I'm catching a rhythm after that. +4, that's an 18. How many is that so far? Actually, I'm going to do one more, and then we'll take another break. Play the 11. Half tempted to play the 11 using the 8 and the 5. Let's not do that. That's the slide that messes me up. So clearly I should have hit that one just a little bit harder. I've gone it. Okay, so let's try something completely different. This is not the end pattern I had in mind. Even that was too soft. The idea was to get, somewhere over here for the 12. That way I can cut the 3 on the side, come down table, and hit the rack from behind. Oh, I can still try it, but from a much harder angle. Oh, missed the rack altogether. I thought I had plenty of side spin on that one. Okay, so let's see here. It's supposed to hit the rack and come over here and hit this corner here to really try to dislodge the rack, but I guess I did not have nowhere near enough side spin. Okay, so what's a creative shot that I can attempt here? Well, there's a couple of things, really. So I think what I'm going to try is I'm going to call the 5 ball right here. See what I mean? It doesn't matter since I scratched. Okay, so that's a 15. There are no -1s in high run attempts. It's just the run ends pretty much after that. Whew! Oh man, that was a struggle bus on that set of innings there. Let's see here, because during my first set of attempts, it took me 8 in order to get somewhere near 100. This time it took 11, since I now have a total of 19 attempts. More times now I did not get out of the first rack, which is pretty typical. It's usually more common that this happens to me. And now my average has dropped below 11. So I'm just going to take a small break and then do one more series of attempts to see if I can push that average back up. Eves, I wish I can blame the new cloth, but my first series of attempts where I had an average of 14 was on the new cloth, and then as time goes by, like my performance goes down a little bit, and that's usually been kind of like the trend. I'll either start off mediocre, have a nice climb, and then just kind of lull out for the rest of the night, or I'll just continue to lull out for the rest of the night. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's see here. Just want to check and see how many viewers I've been having. Want to thank everybody for being here. Like, I wish I could have more time to be able to just produce more content on a regular basis, but I work a 9 to 5. What can I say? Preston Moore says you've watched my product review on, and you'd love to hear my thoughts on the JFlowers Cue since they're taking over Charlie's, which is one of our local pool halls. I mean, what can I say? A cue is very personal to an individual. What's also very personal to an individual is how much money they can spend. And that's really what it's going to boil down to. Right? When JFlowers first came out, and I work with JFlowers. That's why I've done the product reviews that I've done for them and helped push their sales. And the only quote unquote complaint that I would have about the JFlower Cues, and I've mentioned this before, is that I just don't have a preference to the Mori medium tip that comes on the shafts by default. Other than that, I haven't seen an issue with any of the cues, nor have any of the customers that have bought them locally or any of the customers worldwide that have bought them locally. There have been some issues with like maybe some distribution. Sometimes there might be one unlucky customer might get a manufacturer defect in the cue that they bought, but JFlowers is right on top with fixing whatever issue comes up. Locally here, I've had some where like some of the shafts are really, really, really tight to put on and off, and the shaft gets replaced immediately. I've seen like recently, I've had I had a tip, a brand new tip fly off one of the shafts, and they asked me to put on a new tip for them, and JFlowers is going to pay for it. Right? So it's like, I don't know what else to say beyond that, other than where else are you going to find a cue that comes with a carbon fiber shaft that's less than $400? Right? To me, that's huge. That's huge that it's like that. What just happened there? That's odd. Okay, maybe it's just I have the stream playing in the background, and I just saw something really weird. So I guess it looks like I'm still okay. Did the stream do anything funny to y'all, or maybe it's just me? I don't know what in the world just happened here. Well, at any rate, to continue to answer your question, there's nothing wrong with the JFlower brand as far as I'm concerned in regards to the performance of the cues, and really the biggest benefit of them is that at least their starting line is really affordable, really freaking affordable when it comes to carbon fiber cues. And like I said, the only thing that I would change by default is the Mori medium tip. And that's just because I don't prefer a medium tip. And I'm not saying that there's anything bad about the Mori medium tip. It's just not my preference. Somebody else might like medium tips, let alone someone else might like the Mori medium tips. That's really it. Because other than that, you're not going to be able to beat the price. You're not going to be able to beat the price, and you're not going to. And as far as I've seen, their customer service has been really good. The thing that I think some people don't seem to understand is that sometimes when they order something and it takes a little bit longer than expected, that's probably because of the government shutting down China. Because if we don't have a batch of cues here in Florida, because Florida, the billiard factory in Florida is like the distribution center. And usually when China produces, their bulks of cues, they would send them over to Florida, and then from Florida they would get shipped out everywhere, right? So usually when there's a delay, it's usually because Florida hasn't received their batch of cues, and if the government in China shuts down and sends everybody home, what else is the vendor supposed to do? Like that's the hardest thing. It'd be completely different if we actually manufactured the cues here in the United States, but we don't. They're manufactured in China, so that's almost where the bottleneck is after that. But if you look around, I don't think you might find maybe a handful of complaints, but I don't see how that's any different that you might end up finding a handful of complaints about any other brand. Right, so I think they're pretty much on par. And in comparison to what they're doing now, as to what they did when they first launched their cues, when over a year ago, it's a massive difference because now they offer different shaft diameters. They offer different weights. They do offer different tips that you can change on when ordering. They now have a white sight plate as opposed to a black sight plate. All kinds of differences that they now offer that they didn't offer in the past. So, like any starter company, they did what they've done and they've grown and improved. So they can only hopefully just keep on going in that direction. So I hope that answers your question, even though it's a long-winded answer. Matthew Ellis, what's going on, man? This is an old buddy of mine. You're asking if Hassan, and I'm assuming you're wanting, when you say Mike, you mean Big Mike, who's a Korean guy that used to play in our area a long time ago. As far as I know, neither of them play anymore. I think Hassan lives now in the Austin area, and I believe he still works at Dell. And I haven't seen hide nor hair of Big Mike in forever. I do believe he's married. I think he has a family now. But as far as I know, he doesn't play anymore either. Let's see here. Are there any other questions? I look around. I see my bot is still doing its job and letting everybody know what they can do. And Eves, I certainly do appreciate that. My bot should be telling y'all this, and there you go. Here's my bot letting y'all know. If you like what you see here, please give this stream a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you're at least here on YouTube. And if you're watching over on my Facebook page, then at least consider following my Facebook page as well. I really would appreciate that. All right, let's see here. I'm almost going on streaming for 3 hours, which is typically what I like to do. So I'm not really seeing any more questions. Oh, okay, here's a good question. This is from Ken Clifford. It says he wants to know, when am I picking my break ball? Is it right after the break or after I run a few balls down? It depends. It really depends, because if there are usually right after the break, I can kind of pinpoint a break ball that I would like to have, and I would already have a key ball to get me to that break ball. I would like to use it, but depending upon how I can maneuver my way through the rack, I might not get to keep that break ball. So I do at least try to identify one right after the break if the break is good. There's only like one or two, two, maybe up to three. Maybe there's like 3 trouble spots or something. And then I could try to pick a break ball. Because if that's not the case, then I would try to put the rack or the layout of the rack in a solved state, then pick my break ball and then try to run out from there. Jeff Watts, you're wanting to know if I plan on going to Minnesota to see Demi's new club when it opens in April? I am. I don't necessarily know if I'll be able to go in April, like when it opens, but I would like to. I do plan on trying to make a trip up to Minnesota to be able to check it out. I'll probably film some content or whatever and help promote his club. I mean that's an absolute. Demi was kind enough to come down here to Texas and train with me over the Christmas holidays. If any of y'all have seen the live streams that we did there. So I definitely owe him some time to come up there and visit with him again. And of course, maybe even train some more. Not just to go up and see the club, but to maybe train some more and then, of course, hang out. What kind of question is this, Craig? How is a bubble sort algorithm implemented? You know what? I don't even remember how to do bubble sorting. Because you're asking me a programming question. Let me see if I'm gonna answer this just because you freaking asked it. Let's see here. Okay, so if I understand what I'm reading correctly, let's take 5 numbers. And we want to put them in ascending order or even descending order. It doesn't really matter. What a bubble sort algorithm does, if I'm reading this correctly, because it's been ages since I've done a bubble sort algorithm in computer programming, it's going to start with the first element of the number. Like, it'll start with the first number, and then it's going to look and see if there's a number that's supposed to go behind it. I think that's correct. And when it finds that number, it obviously does this. It obviously does the swap, and then starts with the first number again, because it waits to see if it can get all the way to the end. So really, what matters is if I get to the fifth number and I haven't moved anything back, then that means whatever number that I'm on is now where it's supposed to be. Then it'll go to the next number and basically repeat the sorting process. So we start with number 1, whatever number that might happen to be, and we check to see, is there a number after it that I need to move back? And if I move that number back, then I start back over until I'm able to hit the end and realize, okay, there are no numbers that I need to move back that are less than the current number. So now let's move over to the next number and perform the same algorithm. And when it's all said and done, the numbers will be in ascending order or descending order, depending upon how you design the algorithm. So there you go, Craig. I think I explained that correctly. I might have that terribly wrong, but I do know that if the algorithm follows like that, the numbers will be sorted. Todd Fields, you see that I'm using the El Cheapo Q extension. Let me go grab it. This thing here, right? Cheap, lightweight, quick, and it fits on everything because it can extend, or it can be a little bit shorter, all depending upon what needs that I have. And because this hole here fits on any butt, there's just when you twist, there'll eventually be some plastic. That you can see here that comes up that starts squeezing the butt of the cue. So that way you can just have some sort of an extension. I originally got this when I was playing with my Sean and my Viking. For my Predator Black, I actually have a Predator extension, but I didn't bother buying extra extensions for like the Icon 4.5 or even the Tuxedo. So that's why I continue to use this thing. All right. CW, your wish is granted. Let's go ahead and go do one more set of attempts, and hopefully I can increase my average from here. Let's do it. Turn that off. And then, of course, I'll answer some more questions before I shut the stream down. Last series of attempts. Let's see, what is my current total? My current total is 221. So if I get to 321 or more, that's when I'll call it a night. See if I can get a third or fourth rack in here somewhere. That would be great. Okay, so a good break as far as having a good spread, but a terrible break because you can see I have no break ball. Like there's no ball anywhere right here, or anywhere right here that can serve as a good break ball. So I have to try to make one if I can, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. That means I have to strategically bump into a ball and push it into break ball position. And that's not an easy task to do. Let alone create my own trouble spots. was hoping to bump that one into break ball. It's not touching the rack. I've got a nice rack outline here, and it looks like the one ball doesn't overlap that rack outline. So it's not in the rack. I might be able to use that as a break ball. I like to push it further away if I can, but if not, I'll just have to use it as is. Normally don't like hitting a ball that hard, but I actually needed to hit it a little bit harder so I get flatter on the 7. Alright, so we look at the shot line of the one ball here, so as long as I'm on the other side of the shot line, I should be okay. And that's as good as I'm going to take it. I'm so close to the rack, I don't want to do like any kind of back cut shot or anything like that. But hey, if I'm coming off of a break and I just ran 14 balls, I'm happy. Alright, so gotta hit this pretty darn hard, I think. I want to maybe even have something. Alright, so I couldn't have asked for anything better as far as I'm concerned, considering that I didn't even have a break ball. So the question that I asked before is like, do I look for a break ball now? Like, yeah, I've got a couple. This is a break ball that I could use to hit behind the rack. This is the 7, 15, and 6 are break balls, but you clearly see that I'm going to have to move them. Like, you know, if the 5 or the 15 and the 6 were not here, the 7 would be an awesome break ball, and this would probably be the key ball. And then, so that means I have to try to just maneuver around it without hopefully disturbing it. But with this giant cluster here, I'm more than likely going to disturb it. So I can't really rely on that being my break ball. I can probably rely on this being a break ball, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. Because right now my priority is opening this and opening that. here I am running into stuff, and I got frozen up against to this 15 ball up here. And I know one issue I typically have is, like I mentioned this before, about not having what's referred to as a safety valve. Like going into that cluster was not the greatest of things. I have to hope that I end up with a shot. But if I had a ball, like I just got done shooting a ball into this pocket. So if I had a ball right here, then I have no issues, because then more than likely this is probably the ball that I'm going to shoot at. Didn't cut it enough. All right, well, that's okay. 13 plus 5, so 19. There we go. As long as I get, like a nice goal to have would be to have more non-rack ones than rack ones, if what I said made sense. I'd like to, by the time that I end the stream, I'd like to have more times that I've gotten out of the first rack than anything else. I think that would at least be a good stream for the night. Yuck. So like that one, I'm not going to count because I missed the first shot after the opening rack. That ball that fell, that ball doesn't even count. And if I ever get to a point where I finally hit my 100, like when I actually hit my 100, then I will start counting everything and actually show my true average. Like right now, this is an augmented average. Since I haven't counted any zeros, I'm not counting that one. Okay, so 9 ball, good break ball. Not entirely sure what I would use as a key ball just yet. Let me clear off a couple of things here, and maybe one will pop out to me. Heck, even the 7 ball is a decent break ball. It's just a little low on the rack. And if I chose that, then the 3 ball would be the key ball to go shoot 3 in the side, and I'd have position for the 7 as the next break shot. Oh, I cannot believe I missed that. Oh, at that point, I would probably just start chalking it up to fatigue. That's a 7. And what? I can look and see that, yeah, I've got 13 times that I haven't gotten out of the first rack and 8 times where I have. So I definitely would like to try to increase that number before the night's over, or just have like one giant burst of a run, like a 50 plus. Oh, I think I hit it too soft, and I didn't cut it enough. Hey, right there, worried about that more than anything else. Having a nice break angle. Should have did better than that. Yuck. Okay. And I really thought I hit that soft enough to where I could have turned that into a break ball, but clearly not. It's getting harder and harder. I need to put more thought into what in the world I'm doing here. Oh! Oh. All right. That's all. 4. I have to change it up a bit. What do you say? And as you can see, breaking from different spots, sometimes even then you still end up with like a wonky result. I almost missed that. Wow. started with a behind the rack break shot, and I ended with a behind the rack break shot. That doesn't happen very often. Ah! They're like, even those two balls that I made, those don't even count. What did I do? Oh, I can't wait to go back and look at it and see what I did wrong. Like, did I overcut it or undercut it? Because I have learned that I have a high consistency of overcutting certain types of shots. And I've been trying to reprogram my brain into seeing something new, to where if I attempt to shoot the same shot, when I shoot, I think I'm right, so I shoot and I end up overcutting the shot. But then when I make my adjustment, what I'm looking at makes me believe I'm going to miss. But I go ahead and shoot it anyway, and then come to find out I end up making the shot. So I now have to like reprogram my brain to let myself know that no, like this is actually a good shot. You're going to make it if you shoot. So go ahead and shoot. Can't comfortably reach that. Well, might not have a choice. Two. Can't complain now. I'm getting some decent spreads off the break. My shooting is not being up to par. 9 ball, corner pocket. on the ball. I'm supposed to throw that ball in, and then I'm at the perfect cut angle. But mind you, I wasn't supposed to also get the angle that I got. I wasn't supposed to have to draw into position the way that I did. I would have rather had some sort of an angle to where I could shoot the ball in, have the cue ball come off the rail and back out for the break ball. But that is one of my biggest problems right there, is holding that end pattern true and putting the cue ball precisely where it needs to be. In order to have a good break angle. Oh, jeez. Now I'm just starting to fall apart. The snowball effect is kicked in. Missed that. Woo! My end pattern is not turning out the way I want it to be. finally recovered. You can see that here's an instance where I saved an up-table ball to help create this end pattern. I guess hopefully you can see what I did basically with my last couple of shots is just roll the ball in. It's almost like nothing but a bunch of stop shots. And that is ideal. Like that is really what you want to be able to do to play this game. But it doesn't come up all the time because like what you've seen me do, sometimes you'll struggle maintaining your cue ball control to hold the pattern. And then sometimes you won't even have a break ball, you have to manufacture one. There's all kinds of things. But if you can basically do what I did there every time, then everything starts to work itself out pretty good. gotta be kidding me. I did not just do that. I did not just do that. +2. All right, this ball's gone. Followed by something like that to open up the rack. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I played that every which way I wanted to, except missed. All right, where are we at for the night? That's actually it, but I'm going to give y'all one more. This will be the final attempt. Let's see if I can do another third rack. I cannot believe I did that. And this is the heartbreaking part of what y'all are watching me do. Like, can you imagine trying to do this yourself and the torture it takes to struggle? And then when you think you're going to get something going, a simple mistake like that just stops you. So heartbreaking. But my stubborn self, I like to keep going. Sometimes I can't help it. It's addicting. What can I say? It's addicting. For me, it's all about knowing sooner or later I'm going to have it all completely understood. Cue ball control, pattern selection, like it's all going to just come together. And I'm going to put together this really nice run. And hopefully be able to do it on a consistent basis. Like, I'm not always going to be able to score hundreds after hundreds after hundreds after hundreds. But to be able to do, like, I don't know, like, I think it'd be really great if I'm able to averagely put up like 50s and 60s. But I'm not even anywhere near there yet. Despite how long I've been playing this game, especially this game, you know, despite how long I've been playing pool and how long I've been practicing straight pool. This is currently what I have to show for it. Every now and again, I get a nice run. And that's about it. And then it takes a while before I can do it again. Ooh, that was so dangerous. there's that pushing end pattern again, where I'm either just like rolling the cue ball or playing nothing but stop shots. And that's typically what I'm aiming for. Just doesn't always work out that way. Oh, that was so close. Or just start free stroking at this point. That's what I feel like I'm doing. I feel like I'm just free stroking it right now. Probably should have put more thought into that. Yeah, definitely should have put more thought into that one. Sheesh. Even occasionally I still have to use a bridge. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Golly, pocket speed. Or I have giant bucket pockets. That'll be the most common trolling comment that I get. I won't go on a snooker table. And they're not wrong. It wouldn't either. Now what? Hey! Look at that! I should play free stroking more often. the 7-ball. Oh, double hit the cue ball. I was trying to break this up. I ended up double hitting the cue ball. Alright, so that point does not count. All I get is +2. Well, I think that's at least a good way to end it. My last 2 attempts were 30s. Look at the ending. Look at the ending part of the graph. You hardly ever see that. That where the last 2 performances are basically the best. Oh, but gee whiz! Wait, why do I have a 0 in there? Let me get rid of that. There we go. Oh, okay. Wow. So that's a little bit better, I guess. But as you can see, even having those 230s, like, it doesn't help boost my average as much as I would have liked it to. I don't even know where that 0 came from. But man, so we can see the struggle bus is still there. 18 times I did not get out of the first rack. 9 times that I was able to get to the second rack, and my last 2 attempts were both 30s. Had I not fouled on that last shot, it probably would have been more than 30. I can at least say it would have been more than 30. Okay, so, but that's pretty much going to wrap things up for the night. Like I said, I do have a video that's being published first thing tomorrow morning. Spoiler alert, it's basically a POV, point of view run out. I have a GoPro. I have 2 GoPros now. I've got another one here. This is the GoPro Hero 10. And I have my GoPro above my table because that's what allows me to do stuff like this. Right? If you want to be able to see an aerial view. So I can do an aerial view and a point of view at the same time. And I basically did that for a point of view run out type style of a video. And I do rack analysis just like how I did here in straight pull and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely something that is easier for me to create. So that way, hopefully, I don't have to go weeks without posting any content. So if I find that I'm not having enough time to make like a dedicated video, like I want to do a video on the brake rack, but I got to figure out in my head, like, how exactly do I want to present it? I still have to test out my my video switcher that I have and actually figure out what kind of cameras I want to put in here, because I already have video cameras. Like, that's how I record my APA matches, is with a Sony Handycam. But I'm looking more into some rather expensive cameras. You're saying, what? My top view is off center? Yeah, you're just fooling with me, aren't you? No, like, that's like center. Yeah, that's perfectly centered. You're messing with me, Craig. Cut it out. As particular as I am with usually with my setups here, that is center. From what I was able to tell. It might be like slightly crooked. Like, that could be a thing, because usually I have to try to just ever so gently maneuver the GoPro the way that I have it mounted up there. But it's usually the best that I can do with that. But yeah. So like I said, I don't want to go 2.5 weeks. Maybe, how long was it? Let me look. I can look. When was the last time I posted a video? And the last video I posted was the Alex Pagulayan break controversy. That video was published February 3rd. geez, 1, 2, 3, almost 3.5 weeks have gone by since I posted a video. And when was my last live stream? My last live stream was January 31st. So yeah, it's been quite a long time, and I really don't like just letting so much time go by without giving y'all something to watch. So this new break and run type of format that I wanted to try with both of my GoPros can probably be like a go-to video that I can create. So I hope everybody's able to enjoy it. So spoiler alert, just be on the lookout for that tomorrow morning. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut off for the evening. So for the 30 plus of y'all that are here on YouTube, and I am not entirely sure how many are watching on Facebook. Let me see if Restream will let me know how many are watching. Why am I logged out of Restream? Like seriously, why am I logged out of Restream? That's not cool. Okay, there's that. It better not have kicked me off. I don't know what that was all about. Okay, and it looks like I had close to 10 viewers maybe on Facebook, if I'm reading this correctly. Because it doesn't matter how many people are watching on which platform. I always appreciate anybody that wants to take their time to come and watch me struggle the way that I did, especially for tonight. So I hope it's both educational and entertaining. And yes, Eves, I do have other JFlower and other types of cues that I still have to review. It's been quite a long time since I even did something like that, and it's not just going to be JFlowers. So, but like I said, I just got to make sure that that I have the time to put forth the effort to compile the videos together. CW Radio, you want to know when I might shoot again? I think the next time I might go live. It might not necessarily be me shooting, but maybe Tuesday, and that will probably be me reviewing some APA matches of mine. I finally have 2 videos recorded, so I can review those as the next live stream. The next time I might shoot. Let's see here. That might be on Thursday. We'll just have to wait and see. It all just depends on how this work week is gonna turn out for me. So if you haven't done so already, please give this stream a thumbs up on your way out. I really would appreciate it, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I really would appreciate if you consider sharing the stream to your Facebook profiles. That way your friends and families can discover who I am, and maybe I can grab their interest in learning how to play pool, or at least maybe entertain them with how poorly I actually did tonight. And if you're on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section after the stream is cut off. All of these interactions that happen on YouTube help out the YouTube algorithm and promote the live stream, so that way other people can discover it after the fact. And I really would appreciate it. So without further ado, have a good night, everybody.